Beelzebub is using a forbidden technique against Tesla, which even has Zeus freaking out. Just look at him here, pretty wild. Hades may just be extremely underrated based on his showings during the flashback fight with Beelzebub, and a few more interesting things to discuss in today's Record of Ragnarok video. Subscribe for more. First up, something I've mentioned in pretty much every video since this fight begun is Beelzebub's staff and the fact that he got it from Hades, and in chapter 73 we get it confirmed Hades did in fact give it to Beelzebub. Just gonna say I told you so. Apart from that, Hades pretty much low diffs base Beelzebub in this flashback, like no difficulty whatsoever. However, the situation regarding the fight itself didn't really set off Beelzebub's Satan transformation, as the way it's being set up, Beelzebub kinda needs to be in love with the person to actually set off this transformation. Of course, he isn't in love with Hades, so the transformation doesn't come out. Or it could be that when he's actually in danger of being killed, the transformation actually activates, and Hades didn't really have too much of an intention to actually kill Beelzebub in their first exchange. But considering Hades and how he's currently dead after losing against Huang, he is one of the gods who's kind of being disrespected quite a bit. I've even personally been part of that disrespect train. Him destroying Beelzebub in the way he did may require us to rethink a few things regarding him. However, throughout this chapter as well, which I'll discuss shortly, we do get many implications that Beelzebub has been progressively getting stronger since his first fight with Hades, which already demonstrated him as not in a fighting state, or at least truly in a fighting state. He was already injured from all the other minions he was fighting before actually challenging Hades at the top of the castle or whatever it was. So this by no means was peak condition Beelzebub. When you consider Beelzebub's character, you pretty much have to pull up this panel here. If you read what it says, this is Beelzebub's current goal before he is actually killed. All the way back in his first initial introduction panels, however many chapters ago during the Buddha fight, he pretty much told us he wants to die, and since then I guess most of the fandom thought he would actually lose his fight. But considering that humanity is now in a 2-win lead over the gods, Beelzebub winning this fight is most likely, unless something else actually occurs, such as a draw with both of them dying. That would also fix the issues with humanity having too many fighters compared to the gods with Buddha's betrayal and everything like that, as I talk about in this video here. So that will fix the issue of allowing all the human fighters who were introduced in the initial panel to actually fight in the tournament. A draw must occur, and I believe it's going to be this fight. So coming back to the thing of Beelzebub actually getting stronger, when they call one another a bothersome god or a bothersome fellow, I think that was referring to as them gaining strength. Of course, Beelzebub naturally got stronger by Hades giving him his staff or his divine weapon, which we've seen the insanity that's capable of in the last few chapters. As a quick reminder, these panels here on screen now are a reminder of what the staff actually does. Pretty OP. However, it doesn't stop there. When we cut back to the fight between Beelzebub and Tesla, we have Beelzebub clashing with him saying, "I have become an even more bothersome fellow." So even after receiving the staff from Hades, he's most likely increased in strength, and that's where we actually get to see Beelzebub use the forbidden technique. So this technique could be two things. One, a transformation, or two, a big explosion nuke-like thing. Zeus outright describes it as a technique that was branded as taboo in Helheim, so the land Hades rules over. Or I should say the land Hades did rule over. Many of the transformations were also kinda labelled as techniques as well, so once again could still be a technique. But if you look at where it actually does occur, the idea of it being a transformation is pretty much expanded on when the whole, description of this technique is provided with them two being together, a false god is born. Is this actually Beelzebub's Satan transformation, with him being able to activate it at will now, not requiring all the other painful situations? And of course, the name of this technique, the original sin of the underworld, number 0, chaos. So is this a transformation for Beelzebub, or is this a crazy technique with this black spear actually spawning from Beelzebub? I guess kinda similar to Hajun's appearance initially in his first chapter upon coming out of Zero. So transformation, possibly. Look at Beelzebub here, seems to be transforming, getting all bulky and stuff. So my prediction is this is actually a transformation, and it could be the case that Beelzebub has multiple transformations, but as I've been talking about, I was expecting this fight to go down a different path where the god actually transforms more so in the middle of the fight rather than the end, and it seems like that is actually occurring. However, considering that this is described as the original sin of the underworld, number 0, that could mean Beelzebub has other techniques which are in reference to the sins of the underworld, so expect those in the future to fight, but Beelzebub is definitely going to go in. Before I discuss more about Hades, let me know down below what you think is actually going to occur for this fight. Do you think Beelzebub's going to win? Do you think Tesla's going to win? Or do you think it's going to be an actual draw like I said earlier? So Hades as a chief god was very underwhelming in his fight, not really what we all wanted from a mysterious god that's coming in, replacing someone else, and then having all this build up as the most respected god and the older brother of someone like Zeus and Poseidon, and of course seems to be one of the few people Poseidon actually respected and was kind of different about Hades, potentially due to his overwhelming power. In his fight against Huang, he was kinda clapped. Yes, he had strong attacks, but there's nothing too flashy or that really broken to discuss in verse battles. However, considering this and how much Beelzebub has respected him, and then if you consider Huang even early back in the series as a potential fighter for Poseidon and hinted at being one of the strongest humans all the way back in the start of the series, Huang may just be an absolute monster and Hades may just be extremely underrated, definitely worthy of an increase. Stay tuned for my updated tier list video or a top 10 strongest gods or human video in the future. However, that's pretty much everything for today's video. I think the fight between Beelzebub and Tesla has like 3 or 4 more chapters. I don't think it will be too long, and I do think we're still going to get a longer flashback for Tesla. He's received one little flashback, but it didn't really go into too much detail. For the sake of the story, I hope Beelzebub wins, but I do personally believe it's going to be a draw. One more bonus thing to mention before I end today's video. We got the official colour scheme for both Beelzebub and Tesla revealed. Tesla looks very good in his all gold with the blue. However, Beelzebub being more purple isn't really what I wanted to see. Him being all black would go more, I guess, with his emo aesthetic and who Beelzebub is meant to represent in the series. It's not terrible, but I would have preferred it just be black rather than purple. Even his hair kind of looks purple in this panel as well. Apart from that, we got like the different type of design for both of them as well, with that looking very cool. And I guess I kind of prefer Beelzebub in the special edition outfit. Shout out to the mad lads who support the channel via the Patreon. Join the Discord. That's it guys. Peace.